We're speaking with Sally Smith of Buffalo Wild Wings. She's one of the Food Channel Pro's Leaders with Guts. Do you think leadership skills can be taught?
I think that there are a lot of skills that you can learn. I don't know that I was born with every leadership skill that I have today. And I certainly know that they've been refined over time as I've learned from people. So I think there are definitely skills that can, but I think maybe some of the softer skills or the skills that are innate, that emotional component, is something that you're born with.
Were you a leader in Brownies or high school or college?
I was. And I was actually president of my sorority my senior year of college. I loved learning, and I think that's one of the reasons I've been, why I've had the career in the restaurant industry that I've had, and the ability, even though I didn't come up through the ranks, although I did waitress during college, was this desire to learn as much as I could. And part of learning, I think, comes with being a leader as well, because if you're going to lead, you kind of have to know what you're leading.
And how are you a better leader now than you were in 1994 when you first came to Buffalo Wild Wings?
I think I have, an ability to see a bigger picture, to know that that with the right people and with a lot of hard work, that you can achieve things. Versus maybe in 1994, I felt like I had to do more of it myself. And today, things don't have to be perfect. You can rely on people to get the job done. And I think that's one of the things that, as we've grown, allows me to step away and concentrate on where we're going in the next 3 to 5 years.
How did you prepare for your first leadership role? Was that at Miracle Ear?
Well, my first leadership role, yeah, I guess it was at Miracle Ear. I was hired in, again, it was one of those things, I was hired into a new position that didn't exist, so I had to kind of create the job. And I eventually became the chief financial officer, so I had a number of functional areas reporting to me. And how do you prepare? I think you watch people. I had some great mentors, so I could bounce ideas off them. I watched how they interacted with people, and not just at the company, but I watched my father. How did he interact with his colleagues, and what was he doing that was different, that motivated people, that provided that vision or a reason someone wanted to follow.
And from a personal standpoint, what do you find the most rewarding in leading a company?
It has to be the feedback that I get from our team members across the board. I go into the restaurants and what they tell me, I mean, I can't tell you how many times people tell me how much they love working at Buffalo Wild Wings, that it's like no place they've ever worked. I have home office people. I held a breakfast this morning, and I said, just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about, because I have different departments that come to the breakfast, and across the board, they talked about how much they loved working at Buffalo Wild Wings. And the years have flown by. I had people in there that have been here 11 years, 9 years, 7 years, have come up through the restaurants, and it is that ability to find and provide an opportunity for people.
Buffalo Wild Wings certainly has posted very strong financial numbers, but do you think possibly for other restaurant companies that might not be doing that well, that the tough economy makes gutsy decisions that much harder?
I think so, because you're fighting for survival. And sometimes, in a very tough economy, that decision could be the last decision, unfortunately. I think when you do have an ability to bounce back, you can try things that are perhaps a little bit riskier.
And when you're looking to bring leaders into your team, what traits do you look for in others?
Well, the first thing I look for is a cultural fit. We have a saying here, wait for great. And it kind of comes from the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, something that the entire leadership team has read. And he talks about you have to find the right people on the bus, and then you have to put them in the right seats. And so I wait for a cultural fit. How will they fit with the company? This other thing I look for is, are they willing to take out the garbage? And I know that's a funny phrase, but when I started here, I had been at a company that was very successful, made money. Every day I'd leave my office, and in the morning I'd come back and my garbage can would be emptied. Well, when I joined Buffalo Wild Wings, a friend of mine, originally I was just going to work from home part-time, and a friend of mine had a spare office, and said, why don't you can office out of there. And so I did, and I'd leave there at the end of the day, and I'd come back and the garbage can would be full. And so after about the first week, I said, do we take our own garbage out here? And we sure did. And so I got used to taking out my own garbage. And even though we've grown, even though, from a system-wide standpoint, we're going to be close to $1.5 billion this year, I look for people that at any level are willing to take out the garbage.
And what lessons have you learned along your leadership path that have taught you the most?
I think the lessons that I've learned are, I think it comes by nature, but I don't think you can be fake. I think you have to be genuine. And if you can't, don't do it. So if you're not genuine about a service that you're going to provide, if you're not genuine about the product, if you're not genuine about a program that you're rolling out for your employees, then don't do it. If you can be genuine, you can get that buy-in. I think it's also take a look at your failures. Again, going back to the book Good to Great, Jim Collins talks about the blameless autopsy. And we spend a lot of time looking at what didn't go well. Not to point blame or to, say, gee, you're on your, this is the last time you can do this, but to really, how do you get better? And so I think examining what didn't go well and really trying to get at the bottom of it makes for a successful leader.
And that helps if you're dealing with people that are very self-secure and comfortable in their own skin.
That's right. That is one of the things. It's so funny you use that phrase, comfortable in your own skin. It's one of the things I talk about when I interview people. I said you have to be very comfortable in your own skin. You have to understand that everybody here is going to want to know exactly what you're doing. They may want to come to a meeting, and we encourage that because I think it gets this cross-pollination of ideas. So our marketing person sometimes will come in and sit in on our real estate meetings. But she wants to get an idea of what's the thought process behind some of the sites we're going into. And if you're not comfortable, you're not going to welcome people into your job.
We've been talking with Sally Smith of Buffalo Wild Wings and the Vice Chairman of the National Restaurant Association. Check out the next part of this series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.